Good morning, everyone. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about why I'm making tarot card videos and what it means to me, kind of a little bit about what's been going on with me over the past few months, just so you can understand a little bit better where I'm coming from and so that I can be more open and honest, which is part of my development, my personal development at the moment, is to be more open and honest and more true to myself, and to not be scared, not to be scared of judgment of others. Totally judge away. If you want to make fun of my nasal voice, my Mancunian accent, go for it. If you want to make fun of the fact that I have witch hands, totally okay with me. If you want to make fun of the fact that I tried to paint my nails today, but this thumb just, why isn't it focusing today? This thumb is so messy. I'm going to have to try and sort out the camera. Oh, there we go. This thumbnail's so messy. I tried. These ones are fine. This one, no, I'm not having it. Go ahead. Mock me all you like. I don't care. So with that out of the way, I've always had a passing interest in things like this. Back in the 90s, when I was a teenager, I did a bit of an art project where I made my own tarot cards, and I've got them here. They're very scruffy because they're very old, but I love them. I kept them because I was really proud of them. There was an artist around that I liked at the time who, this one here, the chariot with the Barbie car, the artist made new images using cutouts from existing images, which I really like that style. So I wanted to kind of do my own thing. So I got a load of magazines and started cutting out images and putting them together in my own way. And it was just a fun art project. So I kind of had a rough idea of what all the cards meant, but I didn't really know what the cards meant. And this was around the time that Buffy was out, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Charmed and all these kind of 90s movies and TV shows that were interested in this sort of thing. The Craft, I loved The Craft. So yeah, it was just a phase, it was just a passing interest. Nothing more than that. A fun art project. I love that one. So yeah, it's not like I'd never heard of tarot before. I had, but it was just that's such a 90s a 90s image. There we go. So yeah, I didn't know what the Ace of Wands meant. I didn't have a clue. The Tower, I didn't know what it meant. So I kept hold of those because I was really proud of them. And that was kind of it. That little phase in the 90s was kind of my full experience of tarot throughout my life. And I never really thought of it much again after that. And then in around, I'd say just before Christmas last year, so 6 months ago-ish, I kind of had a really difficult couple of weeks where I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep properly, I kept waking up in the middle of the night. I had lost a lot of weight. I wasn't doing very well, and it was just before Christmas, so I was really busy. It was my daughter's birthday. I had quite a lot to do. I was stressed, but I found that I was waking up at a very specific time of night every night, and it was around 3:30, 4 o'clock-ish, and I looked it up, and that kind of opened up this pathway into looking up other things. And I'd never heard of it before, but I believe what I'd had was called a dark night of the soul or a spiritual awakening. So you can look up those terms. Spiritual Awakening, Dark Night of the Soul. I've been doing a lot of yoga, so I don't know if the yoga somehow opened up a channel. I don't know. This is new to me. I'm still figuring it out. But yeah, it was really difficult. And if you know what that term means, and if you've ever experienced it, you'll know that it's an incredibly difficult thing to go through. I don't want to get into too much detail on that, so I think I'll kind of leave that there. But what happened was, when I was waking up at 3:30 in the morning, I was waking up with songs in my head, and it was as though the songs weren't coming from me. So a lot of the time you get a song in your head because you've heard it on an advert, or you've heard someone singing it, or you've heard a few lyrics from a song, and then that song gets stuck in your head and it goes over and over in your head. That's normal, that happens to everybody. But this was more like I hadn't heard a song, and it happens with songs that I've not heard since the 80s, and it'll suddenly be in my head for absolutely no reason. And it feels to me like I'm hearing a song that someone else is hearing. So the first time it happened, I think it was the first time it happened, I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, and the song I Will Survive was absolutely, it was as though it was blaring inside my head. It was as though someone had turned a radio on inside my head, full blast, and they were singing I Will Survive, just with so much feeling. And to me, it was as though I heard. It sounds crazy. I understand that it sounds crazy. You know, I've been saying to myself, this is crazy. This can't be happening. This isn't possible. Trying to rationalise it, which is how I know I'm not crazy, because if I was crazy, I wouldn't be trying to rationalise it. I wouldn't be questioning it. But yeah, so the song I Will Survive was blaring in my head, and it was as though I'd connected to somebody, and I haven't got a clue who. And they had experienced some kind of breakup, perhaps, or some kind of loss, and they were listening to the song I Will Survive, and they were feeling it, and they were saying, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. Just really feeling that. Really, it was so hopeful, and so passionate, so hopeful, and I was really quite moved by it. I think that was the first time it happened. And then I think one of the next times it happened, and I spoke about this on Twitter with another game changer. The next time it happened, it was the song Unchained Melody. And with that one, I got an image in my head. And the image in my head was of... there was some singers years ago called Robson and Jerome, and they were in a TV show called... No, they were in a TV show called Soldier Soldier, and I mistook the scene, and I thought that the scene I was seeing was from Soldier Soldier, and when I looked it up, it wasn't. It was from a show called Cold Feet. I think it was the same actor. But that's interesting. That's kind of another thing that makes me think, well, this isn't coming from me, this is external, because I remembered it wrong, and then I have to go and look things up. Yeah, I'm not explaining that well. I might be able to explain it better later. So the song was Unchained Melody, and the visual that I saw was this scene in Cold Feet where the guy goes to his love interest's house. I've never watched the programme, I just remember this. I must have seen a clip of this scene, and I think he's singing to her, and he's naked, and he turns around and he's got a rose stuck between his bum cheeks. And I saw that image. So I don't know, maybe one of you are going, oh my goodness, I did that. I went to my girlfriend's house with a rose between my bum cheeks and sang Unchained Melody to her. You know, well played. Another song that I heard early on was Message in a Bottle by Sting. And I know that all those scorpions and the stingray in some of my readings has rang a bell with some of you. It's something some of you have noticed. And yeah, so Message in a Bottle by Sting. That was another one that I got really loudly, and it was like someone was literally sending out an SOS to the universe saying, "Can I get a break? Someone, I'm having a really hard time. Can someone help me?" Well, it's by the Police, isn't it? It's not by Sting, but Sting is the person who sings it. So yeah, so I get songs in my head, and it tends to happen when I'm in that stage between being awake and asleep, that sort of halfway stage. And after a while, I started getting images as well, and it's as though, so sometimes it's as though someone's putting an image in front of my face. It's like somebody is going like this in front of my mind's eye, and I'll just see the image, or I'll see part of an image, and then I have to try and decipher it. And it'll just be a flash. It'll be a flash of an image. After a while, it developed into moving pictures, and it was as though it was as though someone would be watching a TV show, and I could see what they were watching. I know how crazy that sounds, believe me, I know how crazy that sounds. It's even more crazy when it's actually happening to you. So let's see, what's some of the things I saw? One that I've never figured out, because it tends to, I see the images and then it makes sense. So a week later, maybe it'll make sense. I'll be like, oh, that's why they showed me that image. One of the early ones that I got that I never actually managed to figure out was I saw a dog that looked like Lassie, like a golden coloured Lassie dog. But she had a pair of children's underpants on her head. So she had her ears, like the underpants were on her head upside down, and her ears were coming through the leg holes of this child's underpants. And they were either red underpants with a yellow star or yellow underpants with a red star. And the term I was sort of hearing was wonder dog, like Lassie the wonder dog. And it was as though some children had put their pants on their dog's head and turned their dog into a superhero. So if you did that, if that rings any bells with you, I would love to know, because I haven't figured that one out, and it made me laugh. I really, really thought that was funny. I've come to realise that the universe has a sense of humour. When all this was happening, I was seeing people talk about signs and synchronicities, about seeing patterns with numbers. So seeing 1111 or 2222 or 4444, or mirror numbers as well. So it might be, if you look at a digital clock, it'll be 1221 1221. But it would be, I'd see it on the time, I would see it on the battery on my phone, I would see it on the timestamp on YouTube videos. I would see these numbers everywhere. Like, once I noticed it, it was as though I was being absolutely barraged with numbers. That's kind of become the norm for me now. I don't notice it as much because it happens so much. It's more of a subconscious thing. I can't remember where I was going with that. Signs and synchronicities. Yeah, I questioned a lot at first. I thought I was going mad. I felt like I was going mad. It was really difficult actually, because you don't want to think that you're going mad, but the amount of synchronicities I've got. At first I'd say, oh, that's just a coincidence. That's not. That's just me reading too much into things. It's just a coincidence. But then the coincidences would increase, and it's as though the universe was saying, will you just listen already? Will you just stop trying to rationalize this? Stop trying to question it, overthink it, dismiss it, and will you just listen? It was the word barrage is perfect. I was barraged by the universe. Some of the kind of things that would happen was, there was one day and I was walking to work, and it's quite a clear day, And I remember thinking, this isn't possible. I'm just reading too much into things. This isn't happening. And I kind of, in my head, thought, right, universe, if this is real, send me a sign. The second I thought that, on a clear day, there was a single flash of lightning, lit up a whole section of sky, single flash of lightning out of nowhere. And that was it, one flash of lightning, as I thought that. One of its favourite things to do is I'll be listening to Spotify and I'll think, this isn't real. Universe, send me a sign that you're really here, that this is happening. And the song called The Universal by Blur will play, and that's happened quite a few times. And the line in it is, the universal's here. It's funny to me. And I'm like, okay, universe, okay, I get it. Okay, you're listening, fine. Thank you for the sign. A funny one was when I finally opened up and started talking to the Beast about it. He was playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and he was a little bit skeptical, and he said, right, okay, whatever. Right, well, I want the universe to send me a sign. If this is real, strike me down, universe, something like this. And the second he said it, he must have continued playing for 5 seconds, and I don't know if he's, because I don't know that game well enough, I don't know if he stood on a mine or someone threw a bomb at him, but he exploded. In the game, he exploded and died. So I sat there sipping my coffee, saying, see. Yeah, so it gets to the point where it's too obvious. The universe is going, I can't make this any more obvious that this is happening to you. Again, you don't have to believe me. You can think I'm reading too much into coincidences, but there's only so many things that you can say are a coincidence before you start to say, okay, maybe there's something to this. Sorry, I'm just going to sip my coffee. I've got this bear mug today, which leads me on to my next thing. So, this morning, I was waiting to start my readings because it was a little bit dark this morning. It's a cloudy day. You might be able to hear the rain actually in the background. I've got my window open. I like the sound of the rain. I like the sound of the birds when I'm doing my readings. This morning I got up quite early, and it was too early to do the reading, so I painted my nails, and I watched some YouTube videos as I was sort of waiting, and I started to fall asleep on the sofa. And so I got to that in-between stage, and I started to hear songs. One of them was, I get a lot of Billie Eilish, I think. Sorry, I call her Billie Eilish. I know she's Billie Eilish. I think it's funny to call her Billie Eilish. I get a lot of her songs at the moment, and I don't know if someone particularly likes her music. She's very popular right now. Maybe a lot of people are listening to her, so I get a lot of her songs. I don't know. But I think the song that I got was, I think it was Bury a Friend. But the specific lines that were in my head were, why aren't you scared of me? When we all fall asleep, where do we go? So maybe you've been listening to that song. That's a sign from the universe for you. The other song that I got was It's Amazing by Danny Minogue. So that's a really old, obscure song, but it's a nice song. So It's Amazing by Danny Minogue, if you want to look that one up. I've got some notes here because I started to get the images in my head, and I thought, if I don't write these down, I'm going to forget about them. And clearly, I'm getting them right before I do a reading. Clearly these are messages for someone. Excuse me. It's funny, I've seen other tarot card readers, when they start to burp, they say, oh, it's this is channeling, this is me channeling. So I say that now as a joke. if I need to burp, I'm just channeling. So the images I saw as I was falling asleep, I saw some kind of insect. I'm going to say it was a ladybird, but it could have been a beetle. I didn't see it 100% clearly. Some kind of insect, and it was crawling. Oh, hi! It was crawling up the side of something that could have either been a door frame or it was a wooden table leg. It crawled up the side, got to the top, kind of poked up over the top for a second, and then it flew away. That might be confirmation for someone. I saw a card, a tarot card, which I'm just going to hold up this tarot card. It's like any tarot card. So it was like seeing, like sort of like that in my head. I could see the top half of what I identified to be a tarot card, some kind of image, and the image was I identified it as the Emperor card in the tarot, but it wasn't an image that I recognise from any tarot decks that I'm familiar with. So in my head, I knew it was the Emperor card, but it wasn't one that I recognised. I don't know if that makes sense to you. But the image was of a man, and he had brown hair, sort of longish hair, like he'd been in quarantine for a while, a big beard, brown hair, and he was looking up to the sky, and the sky was red behind him, and he was pointing upwards. So it's kind of like a mixture between the Hierophant card and the Emperor card. Again, if you know that image, I would love for you to share that with me, because I'm always curious to know what these things are. Finally, and this one was really sweet. The other image that I saw was a drawing of a panda, and I saw it sideways, and it was like almost like a child's drawing, or it was quite a it may have been an adult's drawing, but it was quite roughly done. Yeah, pencil drawing or line drawing of a panda. And I can't draw. I'm terrible draw. I can always see what I want to draw in my head, but it never comes out looking anything like it. But to give you a very rough idea of what this panda looked like, and it was much cuter. Whoever drew this panda, it was much better than this one that I've drawn. But yeah, so there we go. It's sort of like that, and I could see this picture of a panda on a table, like this. So there you go. I don't know why I got those songs in my head. I don't know why I saw those images. They may mean something to someone. I felt like they were showing me them. I say they. When I say they were showing me them, I don't know what they is. I have never been particularly religious. I was not raised in any religion. I was raised to be open and accepting of all things. I was never christened. My dad said that that was my choice when I was old enough to make that choice, and I never felt that that was a choice for me. I like religion. I think it serves a purpose. I think it's very healing to a lot of people. I think it's gives people guidance. I can see a huge amount of benefit to having various religions. Obviously there's problems with it as well. I know people feel quite strongly about that. I'm very accepting. I think that whatever anyone wants to believe, that's their personal choice. I hope that other people will be as accepting of me. What's the Lord's Prayer? Forgive us our trespasses. No, that's not what I'm thinking of. Something about casting first stones, and who's without sin cast first. Don't judge lest ye be judged. All these kind of things. You shouldn't be judgmental of others. It's if you believe in God and Christianity, then you absolutely should not be judging others. That's you're not doing a very good job if you start there going, you shouldn't be saying that. That's not what God wants from you. My personal beliefs are that everything is everything. So I tend to talk in terms of the universe. So the universe, if you translated it, would be God. The universe to me is everything. It's all things. It's every single thing. It's this crystal, it's my fingernail, it's these cards, it's the sky, it's the dog that you can hear barking, it's every single atom, every single cell is the universe. And to me, the universe is one big organism, sort of like a huge machine, that can see everything that ever was and ever will be, and we're all cogs within this machine. So the machine knows what will happen and when it will happen. It's neither good or bad, it just is. It knows what needs to happen and when it needs to happen, and it aligns the cogs. So I feel like when you follow your intuition, you're working in partnership with the universe. You're doing what you're meant to do, what the universe wants you to do when you follow your intuition. And that makes the universe's job a bit easier, because they want you in a certain position at a certain time so that a certain thing can happen, which then affects all the other cogs. And one big machine, everything is constantly turning within it. We can't understand it. A human couldn't fathom that kind of complexity. I've been thinking about free will within this, and to me, you have a set. It's not so much about you, it's more about what the universe needs at that time. So say the universe says you're this specific cog in this specific place, and you say, but I don't want to be that cog, I don't want to follow that path. The universe will say, okay, fine, I'm going to take your cog and I'm going to swap it with this other cog over here, which fits the exact same place, which will turn all the other cogs around it in the exact same way and get the same results. You can go over here and try being this cog, and the universe will still get the same results, because it's just swapping the same parts. If you thought about it like a chessboard, the universe is playing a huge game of chess, many pieces, and it's playing the black side of the board and it's playing the white side of the board at the same time, and it's moving its pawns. Now, if you're one of those pawns and you don't want to move to the square that the universe wants you to move to, it might just swap you out. It might put you in the place of another pawn and put another pawn in your place. It won't put a queen in your place, because that won't get the same effect. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Just, as I say, I'm very open, and I'm always rethinking things. I don't have any fixed ideas or beliefs. My mind is always changing on things, and you may ask me next week and I'll say, oh, then it's all poppycock. It's none of that's true. The universe doesn't have a clue what's going on. The universe just is. I'll completely switch around and change my mind, but at the moment, that's where my thoughts lie. I hope that was somewhat interesting to you. Feel free to judge me if you like, because that's your own karma. You shouldn't be judgmental of others, and if you are, then you're just making trouble for yourself. But if you want to judge me, if you want to make fun of me, you go right ahead. It's water off a duck's back. Okay, have a lovely day. Take care. Bye bye.